Is music the universal language? We talk about this and more with my special guest, Dave Koz, on this episode of The Little White Lie. Welcome to The Little White Lie, everyone. It's a lifestyle show for super boomers and beyond that will enhance your lifestyle, health, empowerment, and more. This is Caren Glasser, and I am so delighted that you chose to join us today on this special edition of The Little White Lie. We have a very special guest, and we are actually starting this all over again. You know, modern technology is what it's all about. We're going to be tackling the question about music, and is it the universal language? And so I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest because I'm just beyond excited that he's here. I'm going to bring up this. Dave Koz is a world-renowned, multi-Grammy Award nominee as a saxophonist. This guy is awesome. Besides being an old friend, he is an amazing musician, and who better to bring on a show when we talk about music but Dave Koz. So without further ado, let's bring him into the show. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Caren, I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Well, I'm just thrilled that you're here. We had a little bit of a glitch in the beginning, so I'm glad that we're able to get us all back on. And I like to start the show by asking you, Dave, what is your little white lie?
Okay, well, I'm clear and clean on this one. My little white lie is actually a white lie, and that is, yes, my white hair. I have been feigning being a dark-haired person for a very long time. I probably started to go gray in my 20s. My mom was prematurely gray, and I have been covering it up for 25 years. I'm now 55. Last year, 2017, I finally decided to bite the bullet and see what happened. And since that time, it has been absolutely an incredible experience. And once again, proving the power of authenticity.
Oh, I so agree. You know, I saw you for the first time in a very long time, about a year and a half ago. And I remember sitting in the audience at Uptown Theater in Napa and taking like this to my husband going, look, he looks like me and I look like him, because you were now obviously white. And I remember about halfway through the show, you just stopped and you said, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I just laughed because truly it has been, I know for me, people walk up to me all the time and say, oh my gosh, your hair looks amazing. I think you've had the same experience, right?
Well, I mean, thing is, I was so petrified about it. And we set up these fears, these irrational fears for ourselves that sometimes we make them into these mountains that you can't even possibly scale. And then you finally say, okay, I'm ready to climb the mountain. You get to the other side, you realize there's no mountain at all. And that's exactly the way it was for me. I grew my hair out. I think it was maybe around January, February of 2017. I was working with this guy, the guy who cuts my hair for many years and colors it. And he held my hand and we did it one step at a time. And I think men are much more kind of crazy about their hair than women are, believe it or not.
I don't know.
Maybe not, but there is a double standard. I will tell you that, because most of the time men get, if they have white hair, they get the distinguished, or you look so distinguished. Women, right. You know, and I say bravo to you for doing it yourself, because you look fantastic. And we were talking before about your mom, who I know very well for many years, and she's a beautiful white-haired woman.
Yes.
And but it was the first thing that happened in my career was I hosted a cruise. I've been doing this for many years, but that was my first public appearance as a gray person. And so here is a sold out cruise with 2,000 people. The first day before there was the big kickoff where I was welcoming everybody, I could walk around. Nobody recognized me. All these people have been fans of mine for 20 years and nobody recognized me with the gray hair. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And then finally, when I came out there, I said a few things. I said, you know, I just want you to know that this is the real me. I feel very good. That people have been so nice and come up and said compliments. And I was out eating dinner, and people would come up to me that I didn't even know and say, I love your hair. So honestly, it was one of those great lessons, life lessons that comes around every once in a while. That is a great shot in the arm, that you're on the right path. And again, that magic word of authenticity, really firmly stepping into your shoes that you were given. And every time that I've done that in my past, including this time, it's been rewarded in ways that I can't even explain.
I agree. I mean, Joey Garrity says the power of authenticity. It is so, so true. I found myself in the same spot. I mean, I sat in front of a camera for years talking about being authentic, and yet what I saw in the mirror was not what I was portraying out there, right? So we did this right on camera. So coming out for you was pretty okay, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and this was actually my second coming out. I came out first at age 40 as gay. That was my first coming out. And then coming out as gray the second time was actually, I was even probably a little bit more freaked out about that than I was about the gay thing. But that was interesting too. There is a connection between the two. Both are about truly being who you are. Mm-hmm. When I did come out at 40, that's 15 years ago. That was a very different world than it is today. There was not a lot of people that were coming out back then, right. Men. And so I was concerned legitimately that my career would be over for whatever reason. Not only did that not happen, but everything improved. And it's not like anybody even cared. It was just a blip on the screen. But what changed was me inside and being able to be a whole person and being able to show up as truly who I was. That really, it was such a sense of empowerment to be able to show up fully in my life. It was like the first time at age 40, really being a whole person, not being two halves of a person.
What a wonderful message you're stating right now, because it's about being vulnerable, right? It's about showing up exactly how you are. And I think that resonates with people.
But we all have these things I mentioned before, the irrational fears that we create, whatever it might be, we all have them. And it's very personal. Everybody's going through their stuff. And it's incumbent upon ourselves to recognize when the time is right for us to scale that mountain. And
so true.
But every time, I mean, I've talked about this with so many other people with a wide range of issues and problems. And the same thing is always, it's across the board. You face your fears, you get on the other side of it and realize I was completely blowing this thing out of proportion.
Isn't that funny? I mean, I so understand what you're saying. You know, so today's topic, we're talking about music. And as I said, who better than you to talk about music? You are probably the most amazing musician that I have personally ever met, you know, and I've watched you play.
Don't tell that to your brother.
Well, I won't tell that to my brother. I think I actually have told that to my brother, and he would probably agree, Dave. Totally. He would totally agree. So the question that I want to ask is music the universal language? I've always said that it is, because I think that it speaks to those who might not otherwise hear the words, understand what it is. And when you hear music, the emotion, oh my goodness. Look, guys, we've got the sax out here. Are you going to play a little bit for us?
I can.
Oh my God.
I play the saxophone and I play an instrument. Obviously, you can't hear words when I play. And therefore, it's even more so for someone who's an instrumentalist, that music transcends all barriers, certainly language barriers. I've been all over the world. I feel so blessed that I've been able to have a career and a job that has taken me to the farthest regions. I've been all over China playing my music. I've been to South Africa. I've been all over Europe. I've been to all over Asia. Crazy, Bangkok and Kuala Lumpur and Jakarta, Indonesia, and stepping off the plane and going to a venue in a foreign country and somebody showing up that knows my music. It's an amazing experience. It's very difficult to put that experience into words. But I do think that what the theme of your show is incredibly accurate, and maybe more so now. Forget about all the sides of the political fence and what's going on in the world right now. Music is, and our business too. I'm going all over the place. I'm sorry, but our business is trying to figure itself out. The music business, like every business, has been turned on its head. But even though the business is still working itself out, I think that the power of music to be able to comfort us, especially in times of great strife and tumult, and where we're at right now, I think that music has become even more important than it ever has been to just provide the antidote to all the craziness that's around us.
Oh, so true. And since you are holding the sax, I'm going to put you on solo. If you would just give us a few of those just the notes that you're going to play, the melodious notes.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. All I can say is thank you. I know what a treat for our viewers and our listeners to hear you play live just like this, just off the cuff for us. I really, really appreciate it. You know, one of the things that people always ask me to ask my guests is, why do you do what you do? What is your why for doing your music?
It's a great question. It's infinitely inspiring for me. Because it always changes. I don't have a desk job. I've never had an actual real job, Caren, in my whole entire life. And if I did, which maybe if I went back when I was in high school, I think I had a job for a day and was fired after the first full day because I just was, not there mentally. And maybe my body was there, but I wasn't there mentally and with my spirit. And that's the gift of music that it's been for me. I picked up the saxophone when I was 13. That was after playing a couple of other instruments really badly. And the saxophone came to me at a time when I needed a best friend and someone to talk to. And I couldn't necessarily put into words what I was feeling inside. And the saxophone was that vehicle. It was there for me, always. And then, but I never really planned on that being my life and career. But there were other people along the sidelines of my life that became those very, very important people that said, no, this is something that you need to do. You need to be able to play this instrument. And they nurtured me and gave me opportunities that gave me a career. So I'm very grateful to those people. My brother is one of them. A guy named Jeff Lorber is another one. Bobby Caldwell, Bruce Lundvall, who signed me to my first record deal at Capitol Records. And so it's been like a train ride since the train left the building when I was 13 years old. It's just been constant and nonstop and so entertaining. So that's really the why. Is just I've never done anything else, and I love what I do.
I get it. I totally get it. You know, I'm putting some of your album covers. Do we call them albums still, or are they CD covers? What do we call them now? CD covers. And I had to put one up just so that people could see you when you had dark hair, right? And I have to agree, you look awesome in your white, gray, silver thing going on over there. You know, you have a lot of different CDs going on, and I want to make sure that people know that they can go pick up your CDs. Just go over to theboomerlifestyle.com. By the way, that's our new Super Boomer store that you can pick up all of Dave's CDs. And also, Dave, I know that you do a yearly cruise. In fact, I know you sell them out. You do 2 back-to-back. That's how popular you are. And I think you're already sold out for next year, aren't you?
Our next cruise is in 2019, March 24th of 2019, and goes for 2 one-week cruises, and both are sold out. It starts and ends in Sydney, Australia, and we go. Our mantra, our mission, is seeing the world together through music. So your theme today very much plays into that whole concept, which is, okay, if you go on a cruise, if it's not a theme cruise, you get yourself on the ship and you're with a bunch of strangers. Now, you are still with a bunch of people that you don't know on our cruises necessarily, but you're bound by your shared love of the music. And therefore, when you step foot on those cruise ships, you're not amongst strangers. So you can talk to anybody. And we've seen these friendships develop over the last 12 years that we've been doing it. People come on these, it's like a musical travel club, seeing the world together through music.
And my understanding is they love it so much that by the time they're getting ready to disembark from the cruise, they've already signed up for the following year, which is why people like me that didn't get in the beginning can't even sign up. Maybe you guys should be doing a 3rd cruise, just putting it out there just in case.
Well, we shall see. Or maybe you could do the Boomer Lifestyle cruise.
Maybe I could. And would you come play on it if we did that? Of course you would. Of course. Of course. So I want to put some things up so people know how to follow you. They can go onto your website, davecause.com. They can follow you on Instagram at David Stephen Cause, or they can follow you on Twitter at Dave Cause Music. We got them all up there. And so what message would you like to impart upon our viewers about music and about how we can all internalize this and make our lives maybe just a little better?
Well, that's a really great question. And I'm going to go with the first thing that popped into my head, which is about instrumental music, because I'm an instrumentalist. I mean, I have sung, but not very well. And I think that instrumental music is, now we have access to every piece of music pretty much of all time on your phone. You can put up Spotify or Apple Music. And one of my favorite things to do with my friends is all have our phones and we're all in a room and we play this sort of musical one-upsmanship. So somebody will say, well, do you remember this song from Steely Dan from 1982? And then they'll play that. And then that will spark a memory from somebody else and say, well, what about this? And you know what inspired that piece of music for that artist was this piece of music. And it's like you play this sort of musical geography with friends. It's a very important thing that we don't lose sight of, that how much music inspires us on a daily basis. Just for example, if you could just put your head into the space of a day on this planet without music, even if you don't turn on your own stereo or listen to your iPod or have music coming out of your computer speakers, just when you go out into the world, if you could imagine what the world would be like without music as an accompaniment, it would be a very lonely, and it would sound a lot different, and it wouldn't, all the feelings that we feel naturally that we don't even know or we don't even notice are brought to us through music and through the sonic landscape that we enter at all times. So I think music has become, over the last many years, kind of devalued. You see it with where record stores that used to be, your boomer lifestyle. Well, boomers used to go to the Tower Records or Warehouse or the multitude of record stores around the country to find out about the newest releases. It was a very social thing. And over the last, say, 10 to 15 years, music has become quite devalued. You can't go and buy it somewhere. You can't go to a store and talk about it and walk the aisles and be turned on to new music that you wouldn't be normally turned on to. So my message to you and to your viewers is to never forget how important music has been and will be to just life. And it's like as important as breathing and drinking. We have to have it to inspire us.
So important what you're saying. Before I let you go and drop you into the green room, I have one last question to ask you. And what is something that people don't know about you?
Okay. Well, I've already come out twice here on this one program.
It's something about crossword puzzles.
Oh, yes. I do. My dad used to, my parents who died rather young in their lives. My dad was 68. And he left me with two very unusual passions that were passions of his that I didn't share when he was alive. It was a strange thing because he used to do crossword puzzles. His two favorite things were crossword puzzles and opera. And I used to give him such crap about that. I was like, Dad, I don't understand. Why are you listening to this music? It just doesn't make sense to me. And why are you doing these crossword puzzles? And he passed away. He was 68 years old. It was 20 years ago. And it was almost as if, almost to the day that he died, that my interest in opera and my interest in crossword puzzles was born. And now pretty much as a way to just get my mind off of things, if I just need a break or to go to sleep at night or sitting on a plane, crosswords are my thing.
And that doesn't surprise me, not necessarily the crossword part, but the fact that when he passed, that those are the things that almost immediately you started to gravitate to. And that's because that's the string, that's the connector, that is something that holds your father close to you. And that speaks volumes to who you are, and it speaks volumes to who your family unit is and was. So I applaud you for that. And I want to thank you because I know in putting the show together, we were working around your schedule. And so first of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of, I know, your incredibly busy schedule, and then having some technology difficulties. You hung in there with me. I want to thank you for showing up and for showing up for our viewers. From the bottom of my heart, truly, I am blessed. So thank you so much, and we will be in touch afterwards to talk about all those other things that we're talking about. I'm going to drop you into the green room as I get ready to close out the show. And again, thank you, thank you.
It's my pleasure, and thank you very much to all your fans too.
Thanks. So is he awesome or what? I mean, he really is awesome. This is now time for the super boomer moment. This is the point that I want to share with you, something that I took out of the interview that is going to stay with me for a very long time. You know, I have to say that for Dave to be as vulnerable as he was and to come up and talk about his 2 coming outs, which you know, not everybody would do. I want to thank you, Dave, for doing that. You show me and you show us and all of us how powerful it is to show up in our authentic self and to show up in front of people and just say, you know what, this is who I am. I love that. That is how I live my life. So I want to thank Dave for, again, telling us that that is the way what we really should be doing. So I really, really appreciate that. In the meantime, I want to remind you that we have Dave CDs sitting in the boomerlifestyle.com. It's brand new. We just launched it. Just launched it this morning, so go ahead and check it out. Go purchase some of Dave's CDs, and then let us know how you're enjoying it and how it is changing your life to listen to his melodious notes that he plays on that sax. And if you're so fortunate to be able to go on that cruise, get yourself on that waiting list, or maybe we'll do a Boomer Lifestyle cruise. I kind of like that idea. Maybe we'll do that and we'll get Dave to come along with us. We want to thank all of you for spending time with us today. We know that you have a choice as to where you spend your time, and you decided to spend it with Dave and I today. So we thank you. Go out and give somebody an awesome day, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of The Little White Lie. Goodbye, everyone.